Welcome to another episode of the Awakening with Kelvin Piri Podcast under our Bridges to Prosperity series. Today we delve into a thought-provoking topic. Can Zambia create a new capital city? We'll explore the history of Lusaka, examine countries that have successfully relocated their capitals, and discuss whether Zambia can undertake such a move. Is it feasible? Would Zambians welcome it? And what are the pros and cons? Stick with me as we break it all down. The history of Zambia's capital cities. Before we dive into the idea of moving the capital, let's take a step back and look at Zambia's first capital city. Before Lusaka, Zambia's capital was Livingstone, named after the famous explorer Dr. David Livingstone. But why was Livingstone chosen, and why was Lusaka eventually selected to replace it? Livingstone is the first capital. Livingstone, located near Victoria Falls, was the administrative capital of Northern Rhodesia, now Zambia, under British rule. It was a strategic location for colonial administrators due to its economic potential and accessibility to Southern Africa's trade routes. Its selection was influenced by its proximity to economic activities, including railway lines and commercial hubs that facilitated trade with neighboring territories. However, Livingstone's location in the southernmost part of the country made governance challenging, as officials had to travel long distances to access other regions. The region was also not as well connected by transport routes, limiting economic expansion opportunities. Additionally, infrastructure constraints made it difficult for Livingstone to sustain a rapidly growing administrative structure. Why Lusaka became the capital? In 1935, Lusaka was chosen as the new capital because of its central location, which allowed for easier governance and administration of the entire country. Unlike Livingstone, Lusaka was situated at a higher altitude, making it a healthier place with a more moderate climate, which was favorable for government operations. The British colonial government believed Lusaka had the potential to grow into a well-planned city with better transport links and accessibility to all regions. Over time, Lusaka became the center of politics, governance, and commerce, attracting major institutions, businesses, and a growing urban population. As the economy grew post-independence, Lusaka's population exploded, leading to challenges such as congestion, informal settlements, and overstretched infrastructure, which are issues still prevalent today. Examples of countries that have moved their capital cities. Zambia wouldn't be the first country to consider relocating its capital. Many nations have done this for various reasons, from decongestion to economic expansion. Let's look at a few examples. 1. Nigeria, Abuja, 1991. Why move from Lagos? Lagos was the economic hub but became overcrowded with traffic congestion, rising population density, and limited space for expansion. Why Abuja? Abuja was chosen for its central location, ensuring that no ethnic or regional group had a dominant claim to the capital. It was planned as a modern city with good road networks, government buildings, and housing developments. Lessons for Zambia. Abuja's transition took decades and required significant investment. Zambia would need to carefully plan financing and infrastructure development before moving its capital. 2. Brasília, 1960. Why move from Rio de Janeiro? Rio was the political capital but suffered from urban congestion, unplanned development, and social inequalities. Why Brasília? Brasília was built inland to promote national integration and economic expansion beyond the coastal region. Lessons for Zambia. Brasília's success came from strong government commitment and well-structured urban planning. Zambia would need similar long-term vision and investment strategy. 3. Egypt new administrative capital 2020s. Why move from Cairo? Cairo struggled with congestion, pollution, and inefficient public services. Why the new capital? The new administrative capital east of Cairo aims to be a smart city with cutting-edge technology, wide roads, green spaces, and modern government offices. Lessons for Zambia. Egypt is using public-private partnerships to finance its new city. Zambia could explore similar funding models. Can Zambia realistically do it? Now, the big question. Can Zambia create a new capital city? Let's consider some factors. 1. Economic and financial considerations. Constructing a new capital requires billions of kwacha, covering land acquisition, infrastructure, housing, and government offices. Zambia's current economic situation, with issues like inflation and rising debt, makes funding a new capital a challenge. International investors or partnerships with development banks could help, but this would require solid economic justifications. The government would need a clear financial plan to ensure the project does not divert funds from essential services such as health and education. 2. Infrastructure and location. The new capital must have well-planned road networks, public transport systems, and water and energy supplies. Potential locations: central Zambia, where accessibility is easier, or northern Zambia, where new development could be encouraged. The government must avoid making the same mistakes Lusaka faced with unregulated urban growth and informal settlements. 3. Government and political will. Would successive governments support the project, or would leadership changes cause delays? Would the project be viewed as a priority over pressing national needs? Public consultations and feasibility studies would be necessary to gain support and ensure long-term commitment. Public perception and national impact. 1. How would Zambians react? Some citizens might support the idea, seeing it as a way to ease Lusaka's congestion and promote national development. Others might view it as unnecessary government spending when resources could be used to improve existing infrastructure. Public opinion would likely depend on how well the government communicates the benefits and the funding plan. 2. Impact on Lusaka and the economy. Would Lusaka decline if the government moved out, or would it remain a financial and business center? A new capital could lead to a more balanced economic spread, reducing rural to urban migration pressures on Lusaka. Landowners and businesses in Lusaka would need reassurances that their investments would not lose value. Pros and cons of moving the capital. Pros: decongestion of Lusaka reduces traffic, overpopulation, and informal settlements. Modern infrastructure. A planned city would feature better roads, government buildings, and public amenities. Economic growth could spur development in previously neglected regions. Improve governance efficiency. A well-planned city can enhance public service delivery. High costs, billions in investment required with risks of overspending. time consuming, could take decades before fully operational. Public resistance. Many Zambians might question the necessity of a new capital, uncertain impact on Lusaka. Potential economic shifts could disrupt businesses and livelihoods. Closing remarks. Should Zambia build a new capital city, or should we focus on fixing Lusaka? I'd love to hear your thoughts, share your views in the comments, or reach out on social media. This has been the Awakening with Kelvin Piri Podcast. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay prosperous.